those kind of things. But it's been really good so far in recruiting, and he's already started. They started staff meeting this week on the offensive staff, just with cut-ups and some of the installation and all that, and so that'll crank up Monday morning.
I have to ask you because it just popped up on my Twitter line, but so mostly 4 and 5 star recruits, they're making these huge productions out of there. They're making videos and everything. So what's your opinion on that? Is that just something you take with a 4 or 5 star guy, or?
That's a good question. Very fair. I just saw a helicopter a while ago.
Right, helicopter.
Saw a guy with a snowboard. Yeah, that was crazy. It takes a lot of thought. You guys are creative guys. They may have careers after football. I think it's fun. Obviously, they're having fun with it. I hope those kids back it up, or their fans won't be real happy. But I don't know. We got a lot of low-key kids. It seems like a lot of these kids we're recruiting. There's some of them that really, really like to be recruited, and they like to retweet their own stuff, and I get all that. But you got to, once tomorrow hits, they wake up tomorrow, they better be able to go to class, do it right, grind, lift, and become great football players and want to be football junkies. If they want to be a Twitter junkie, they're in the wrong deal. But I do think there's been some creative ones. I always laugh, get a kick out of them. So.
You talk about those guys that are low-key in regards to that.
Uh-huh.
Are those guys that you expect to come in and work hard and make the most of their opportunity because they're not maybe high on everybody's list?
I think, I said to one recruit the other day, I said, you have competed the last couple years, and I've watched you, and you kind of walk around like you got a chip on your shoulder. And he said, Coach, I got this thing. That is not a chip. That thing's a crack. It's big. And he says, it ain't getting off when I come to Logan. That was something like that, is about his direct quote. And I think, man, you sit there as a coach, and yeah, it's 2017, and it's Twitter, and it's that, and I'm involved in it too, and I'm trying to promote our program. But there's some of that you kind of go, okay, this kid's got a little old school in him, and that's kind of neat to see. And then you think, and then I know what our program's about, and what our building's about, and what Logan, Utah's about, and what Cache Valley's all about, and I'm like, okay, this kid's fixing to make it. I can't wait to see where he's at in a year or 2 years. And you just kind of sit back and you look at that, and I think it's refreshing nowadays, and it's neat to see.
So I guess how important is it those stars or offers or whatever, beating out certain teams? How important is that to getting a team full of guys that can win a Mountain West championship? How much of that is that, or is it more your evaluation and getting the right guys?
Well, if our evaluation and they're the right guys once they get in here, the stars are what people say about them. If that's going to match up, then there'll be a really good player here. As you go back and look here, obviously it's been well documented. There's been a lot of one-offer guys crush it at Utah State, crush it. There's one, Zach Vigil, that was the Mountain West Defense Player of the Year, was a no-offer guy. And when I say no offer, I mean nobody in the state of Utah at any division offered him. So you've got those success stories, and I think they're pretty well documented. But, you're recruiting against other schools, and I think the kid's a really good player. So the better players that we get in here, if they can fit and they can work together and they can stay healthy, they make the right choices off the field, and they bond together as a unit, then you're going to have a good team. And obviously we want the best players in here, but we want the best players that fit us. And there's many kids on that, and there's kids coming in this summer that may have one offer or two offers, and they're not ranked. And, it's like one of our coaches just told me a while ago, they saw a kid in the Mountain West that was committed, that was supposedly a 3-star, and then a Pac-12 took him 2 days ago, and his star rating's already gone up to 4 stars. His huddle video hadn't changed. So that's the kind of stuff out there that that doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't do anything to our evaluations. It's for fans, it's for Twitter, it's for all those kind of things. But when the kids come into Utah State, they got to be able to bond and have great chemistry, and then they got to be coached. We have to put them in the right positions to be successful. So there's always probably going to be a mix here at Utah State, whether it's return missionary kids, one-offer kids, walk-ons that become really good. We've had transfers in the past that have been good, and then hopefully the kids that had a lot of offers that everybody knows about end up being good players. Find out in a couple of years, won't we?
Can I ask you, do you feel like you did well enough in the state of Utah, or did you recommit yourselves to get more players from Utah, or how are you doing there, or would you like to do better in the state of Utah?
Oh, well, there's plenty of players in this state that I would love to have, and they didn't choose us for whatever reason. Yeah, there's always more. We don't ever get everybody we wanted. So I'd love to sign the whole class from Utah. That's not going to be. I don't think that'll ever happen because there's certain guys we like out of state that we like better than in-state kids. But there's certainly a lot of in-state kids that I would have loved to have, and they chose to go other places. And so good luck to them. But yeah, there's a lot of good players in the state of Utah. It's getting better and better, and it's getting very populated. And Salt Lake International's got a lot of visitors coming in from out of state. And we just look at the list, and so many kids are leaving the state. And when kids in Utah end up leaving the state, it just invites other coaches to come in. And there's good players. There's really good players. And I'm happy that we got the 8 kids that we got. I really am.
So there are a few guys that maybe you expect to come in, whether it's strength or whatever, expecting to work really hard in the next 6 months to come in kind of a different guy. Maybe he's undersized now, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, there is. And what's scary a little bit, Isaac, about saying which one I think or which 2 I think is Jalen Davis. I didn't sit at this press conference and say, yeah, Jalen Davis is going to come in and start against Tennessee as a true freshman and start every game except a couple games he was injured this year. I mean, that guy he's played since he's been here, and I never would have said that. Jalen Davis didn't have any Division I offers. We beat Division IIs and 1AAs for him, and he's one of the most productive corners at Utah State in a long time. Another one in that line. And when I look at all 3 corners, as I'm thinking about corners, I think the 2 freshmen can come in and compete because they're talented, and Tay and Deontay absolutely will. So who's to say Zahadri or Green are not going to be the Jalen Davis from 3 years ago? That's hard to say, because if you'd asked me that question a few years ago, I bet I didn't say Jalen. I probably said somebody else that perceptionally you think can come in. Certainly, there's a few that I've mentioned from a high school standpoint that because of, kind of depth issues and their talent, I expect them to be in that mix. Nami, Carson Terrell, absolutely. We'll see. I don't know about the other ones right now. So.
The NCAA is going to be having some meetings coming up in April.
Mm-hmm.
They may discuss changes to letter of intent signing day, or
they will discuss it. It's
So-
on the docket.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah.
How it should?
Yeah, I supported it. I supported it to a December signing day as an early signing day, which would be the Wednesday in December that the junior colleges sign. So yeah, support it, and I think some of these kids would have already signed and with us then, and I'm sure some of them would have probably held out and figured it out in January. It will be interesting to see how it changes our recruiting. And I really can't predict that right now. But, yeah, I absolutely supported that. Don't want to see it go in the summer. None of the coaches did. That was absolutely shot down. And we don't want to see that calendar change. But coaches were heavily in favor of supporting the December signing day. So I think that'll pass.
What's the schedule from this point forward? When spring practices begin and all that?
Help me, Hoffman.
February 28th.
Thank you. February 28th is a Tuesday. We're going to get 3 in. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll get 3 in before spring break. And then when we come back from spring break, we'll be on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule, 3 days a week, with the spring game being April the 9th. 8th. Eric, you caught me off guard, bud. I thought I had everything prepared for this press conference. Second Saturday in April. How about that? The 8th or the 9th is the spring game. So we get back on Monday. Coaches are in and starting to talk ball. We've already got a lot of our some junior offers out in state, a few out of state, and we're on to junior recruiting already. Probably have the best start we've ever had for junior recruiting. Again, staff continuity has something to do with that. You keep staying in the same area. We're further along in that, and so that always helps. So we'll start with the schemes on both sides of the ball, start cut-ups, meetings with our players. They're in 3 weeks into the off-season program so far. We'll start our early morning workouts in another week, and then that leads right into spring practice. Yeah, in a month.
Spring practice.
Here we go.
February 28th. You're going to have to melt the water, or you're in there.
Yeah. No, this thing's going to melt. Yeah. Toughen them up.
It's a lot of snow to melt.
It's a lot. More than I've ever seen. You guys have lived here longer than I have, but
I don't think I'll miss many spring practices with golf for a while.
you're going to be at every spring practice. You will not be on the golf course, Al. Okay. Any other questions? Good?
What's the how much better is the depth of the old line going to be this year? Last year?
I wouldn't say the depth is going to be any better because we just graduated 4 seniors, and you bring 4 kids in, you know, 2 freshmen. The depth is about the same. It's obviously you're looking at quality of play and how well they play will be what everybody wants to evaluate, you know, including me. But in terms of numbers and depth, we're at about the right numbers. We replaced as many as we lost.
You don't expect that number to go up. Some, obviously, different programs have different numbers of O-linemen and different positions.
Yeah.
Is that staying pretty?
Yeah, we're right around 15 usually. It's about 3 deep. So, and usually it's a give or take with 16 to 14, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah. Good. Okay, appreciate y'all coming out today.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Whose phone is this?
Mike.